My name's Heather Byron. I'm Senior Vice President of Services at Alliants. For me, operational real estate is around looking from an investment perspective and how investors and operators can yield the most value out of an asset. Yeah, the growth in understanding and the relevance of OPRE for us as a primarily hospitality business is really important. We've got a lot of learnings from the hospitality space, particularly in luxury hospitality, but we're seeing more and more that the demands of people within the wider real estate asset classes wanting that same kind of personalised, differentiated experience which technology is really underpinning and enabling. So understanding that and seeing how it can influence, and we can share some of that experience and share those technologies into a wider footprint is really exciting. I think one of the things that's really misunderstood and still missing within OPRE is just an understanding of the value that technology and, more importantly, data can bring to how investors and operators can really yield the most value from the asset class, and use that both to make amazing business decisions, but also use it to better understand the people who are using their facilities to make decisions around both what to put in empty spaces, for example, whether that should be a gym or a cafe, but also to help the residents or the visitors feel really understood and known, so using the data to really know their guests. I think all investment, irrespective of asset class, has an element of cyclical nature to it, because the capital investments that businesses make and the asset investors make will have a longevity. But ultimately, I think asset classes investors will always be making decisions throughout the cycle. I don't think it's a one-off. And I think the demand that residents and guests and visitors and students and people living in senior living associations or people using storage facilities are always going to evolve, so there can't be a fixed time of when those evolutions are considered. We have to consider them all the way through and then decide the right moment to invest in those changes. I think the relationship between landlords and tenants is constantly evolving. I think we've come from a world where the landlord was very much the master and the tenant was the slave in the relationship. I think increasingly tenants are becoming much more savvy, much more demanding in the service they expect from their landlords. They don't expect things to take long times to resolve. They don't expect to have to have multiple conversations. And I think technology can help those things evolve. Technology can help people have the same life experience at their residence or in their student dorms as they would in any other part of their lives. And I think increasingly they're expecting that. Those demands are going to the landlords, and the landlords are having to make different choices around their capital investments and how they're operating their facilities. So our panel today was around looking at the investment in technology and customer experience within the asset class. So we covered lots of different topics, from how operational real estate is lagging from an investment perspective around the lens they take on technology and the value that technology is seen in some of the investment decisions. We looked at the changing expectations of people, of human nature, and what they want to get out of their commitment to a landlord or to a different asset class. We had a conversation about AI and whether AI was going to result in job losses, or from our perspective, more around AI being a tool to help people do their jobs better. So allowing people who joined different asset classes or into hospitality to actually spend time with people, not spend time at a computer crunching lots of data. It was a good conversation. I think we all predicted what our biggest discussion point would be, and that was around the concept of build versus buy for technology. I think there was a pretty consistent view that there is a choice. Clearly there's a choice. But ultimately, from an investment perspective, if you have provided technology, so you buy it from a trusted provider, then the relevance and the maintenance of that technology is much simpler, even if the upfront cost may feel like it's slightly more expensive. So the area that all of our panelists agreed on was around data and how far behind the asset classes within operational real estate are from a data perspective, both in terms of understanding the value of that data, how you can commercialize and commoditize it, but also how to leverage it to make some really salient business decisions, both that will yield answers around best use of space, but also better knowing the people who are using the facility, whether that's a resident, a guest, or a student. An event focused on OPRE brings really huge value to us as a community. It allows people involved in lots of different asset classes to come together, share their ideas, have some shared learnings, some shared pain points, and really come together to look at how we tackle those together. I think attending OPRE Festival is important because it allows us, as I said, to come together, to really share ideas, to have colleagues from different parts of the asset classes come together with a bit of a shared vision and help move the industry forwards in some really positive directions.